welcome, God bless. So this one is lessening homelessness, the education edition. Education, like the prison system, is massive. It just needs to be annihilated. It's so backwards and twisted. There are kids in houses where learning just is not, it's not on the table because their home life is a horror show. You know, they're lucky to get food and some sleep. They're physically, mentally, really are not capable of doing school at the allotted time that the government says it needs to be done. And there needs to be, we need to work with everyone, because college is not for everyone. And it's not for everyone right out of high school. And college is not what made America great. Capitalism and Christianity is what made us great. It's what made us wealthy, what made us giving, what gave us freedom. And ironically, every single college in America, all the first colleges, were private Christian colleges. So weird how they've turned on their founders. That sucks. But yeah, and you know, some people just, that's not where they are at that age. We need to stop the whole go till you're 18. That's ridiculous. It's far too long. We need to accept the fact that certain people need to get out of the house, and they don't want to sit in a room with a book. Some people are very hands-on. We need to have skills be okay. We need to make it so, you know, they have something to look for, like, hey, at least I can have a skill and be out by 16 at the very, very latest. Because it's not okay. I was appalled. I know I was in a good school system, but I was appalled at how this public system runs. I mean, I knew people freshman year that would have 3-4 study halls. I think that's what it was. I don't know, I was in class. But yeah, just bump on a log. Just sit here all day and do nothing. You might have to go to 2-3 classes, which will be absolute, you know, pick your nose 101, you know, not challenge you one bit, not give you a skill at all. You know, when you're like forcing kids, especially when the amount of poor teachers that are out there, you're just forcing them to go sit day after day, year after year. You're training them to do nothing. You're training them to be lazy. And then, I mean, do you really think after umpteen years of the school system, of just being pushed ahead, never really being challenged, just, oh, okay, well, you just go in this room and sit for the next 4 or 5 hours plus, and then, you know, oh, we better get you in physical, you know, get you moving around for a tiny bit. That's like all these. Do you really think at 18 they're going to be like, oh wow, I'm going to have a total transformation of the personality and all of a sudden be gung-ho for like learning and being active? You can't force children into a pigeonhole of being just lazy and then expect them to be active. It makes no sense. Anywho, and it makes no sense to expect children to actually, if they're in school, you need to be learning something. And it's so sad with how many people go to school and they're not involved in music, they're not involved in sports, I mean, and they're not involved in academics. And yet we have the most like expensive education in the world. For what? It's ridiculous. You're supposed to be challenging yourself. And we need to have, even the way it's run, it's on so many levels, only people who have children should be allowed or should be forced to pay into the system. And I don't even think you should be made to set aside. Upon their birth, you start setting aside for like 18 years, whatever. You have a tax because your children will be using the education system in one form or another. And when it comes time to put them to school, well, then you have a choice of private or public or homeschool. And school is for learning, not bullying, not babysitting, not zoning out. We really need some We really need criteria. It's ridiculous. It's the education system is just frightful. It's not okay the way it is. And the kids who have had to drop out, they really need to be. I know one guy, I just saw him, I haven't seen him forever. So proud of him. He had to leave home because it was not safe. So he was on the streets, drop out, and now he's in a vehicle. And he got his GED last year, and now he is to the point where he's like, you know what, I wouldn't mind some education. And he actually has, he does want an associate's degree. Of course, his parents, who he hasn't lived with in like probably a decade or more, are still claiming him. Love to know how that one works. So hopefully next year it will be all straightened out and he'll be able to apply for federal aid. But you know, you should be able, the parents should be set aside the money, and then the students, the kids can use it, whether it's for their primary education, or like this guy, he didn't use years and years. He wasn't in the public school system, and yet we all paid for it even though he wasn't there. And now he needs, you know, the money for college, which, yeah, if you're an adult, which, you know, when you're 18, you're supposedly partially an adult, you really need to learn how to start paying for stuff by yourself. If you have your house, there's absolutely no reason. And it is possible. I can tell you, I've been to college, I've even been to grad school. Having parents put money aside at the beginning is very important, and if you hold a job, which is possible to hold a part-time job and go to school full-time and get good grades and have the money to pay for it, it's possible to do it. You're not, society isn't responsible for you like every step of the way. If you have your health, like, man up, woman up already. Lord have mercy. So yeah, I think it would be great if the whole education system was gutted, and if there was if we truly accepted the whole tolerance that diversity is beautiful. Well, if diversity is beautiful, why does everyone need a college education? And like realistically, college is about gaining knowledge and critical thinking. Though I had a professor, he's, even back in the day, he was like, college is losing its purpose. It's just becoming busy work, and that really is. The most alarming people I ever met in college were education majors. Tell you what, if I have a kid, they will not be allowed into a public education system. Nope. So, and then I should have the freedom to have my money support my kids. And my kids will not be in public education, so it's no reason why I should be robbed. I mean, America's getting fleeced left and right. It's not okay. And it's really not okay when we tell our children you know, you're only human and you only have value if you get a college education. At the end of the day, not everyone has an IQ for it, and not everyone has an interest. And you know, things change. A gal I grew up with, she had no interest in it. She got into modeling, she did make a career out of it, but you know, as time went on, she's like, okay, now what? And she did go back to college, or she went to college, which was a shame, because in high school she did not get any, a skill. And her classes were so weak, her dad told me she had to take like a year or two of classes at the college just to get her ready to take college classes. There's so much waste. It's really not okay. So yeah, we just need to have mercy on kids. And I mean, and that's part of the thing too, which I need to find that's not up here anymore, my homeless to Harvard. Kids need to be able, young adults, when they're not in a safe environment, they need to be able to take care of themselves. Forcing them to stay within a house that is highly abusive is not okay. Forcing them to go to foster care, which usually is quite abusive and alarming. They're just going like from, what is it, like the pot to the air fryer, whatever, going from one hellhole to another. It's alarming. These things I've read and people I've met who've been in foster care, it's like, that doesn't sound encouraging. You're already going through enough, man. Holy crap. But yeah, so in group homes, watch Homeless to Harvard. Group homes are not safe. We really need to hold kids accountable. It's crazy. There was a time not that long ago where the Bible was a mandatory book. We need to at least bring back the 10 Commandments. There needs to be right and wrong. People need to know what is acceptable, and this whole mentality of having kids rule, it's really not okay. It's to their destruction. It's to our destruction, and I've seen it firsthand. I used to work at a school system. Oh my gosh, it's the second grader. Oh, she was very disrespectful. The janitor actually folded, like they had the big box for lost and found, and the janitor was kind to put out tables, folded it all up so people could like easily look and, you know, reclaim their stuff. And this little girl just came and destroyed it, and I'm like, oh no. She just made that nice for everyone, and you just messed it up. That's not okay. You're gonna clean that up. And she actually, not only did she lip off to me, she lipped off to me with my aide, who was like a 6'+ bodybuilder standing right behind me. It's just like, oh my gosh, this really is not cool. And if you look into it, like this whole movement of, you know, not teaching kids what's right and wrong, not holding them accountable, not encouraging kindness in them, it's actually by a psychologist who recanted everything. From what my professor said, his son wound up killing himself, and he recanted everything he had proposed. It would be great if we would recant his teachings also, because if you look around, it's not cool. And I've been in schools firsthand. And I was in good schools, and it was alarming what I saw. I've seen reports of people in really rough areas, and their teachers are in fear for their lives. It's not okay. It's just really not okay. I'm not saying we should go back to hitting kids necessarily, but there needs to be a balance. There really does. But alrighty, so college isn't for everyone. Skills are good. And you know what? Some people, their time of learning isn't in their teen years. And that's okay. And kids, people, young adults, they need to have the permission to get themselves as safe as possible without running the risk of having, that creepy child protective program coming for them to force them back into the house, to force them into foster care, to force them into group homes. We're really selling ourselves shorts. But yeah, this is a really serious topic. There's so much improvement that needs to take place. So alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.